Look, God doesn't owe you anything. And don't use Jesus as your outlet for success. And if that hurt a little bit, and you say, oh, God doesn't owe me anything, I'm not entitled to anything, He's not going to give me anything. Now, that doesn't mean He's not going to give you anything, but if that hurt, I need you to watch this video and just see if this is applicable and make some changes. Because if it truly is applicable, you're going to be in a life of disappointment. Because I remember seeing this short form piece of content, and it was this guy who was like, Christ ruined my life. Christianity ruined my life. I was praying for this house to close and it didn't. I was praying for this job and it didn't. Now I have cancer and Christ ruined my life. And that's not the case. What ruined his life is this expectation that everything he prayed for was going to be given to him with a magic swoop and a wand. Now, Jesus does say that what you pray for, you should faithfully believe that your Heavenly Father is working out if it's His will. And people leave that out because they're like, oh, I want this G-Wagon and I want this big house and I want all this stuff. But if it's not God's will, it's not going to happen. If it's not God's will, and I feel like you may not realize that you act entitled to God until you point this out to yourself. Because if right now you expect God to give you a rich future where, you got this big house, you're married, if this is the expectation you live with, you act entitled to God. Period. The very first Christians to ever follow Jesus were brutally murdered. Brutally murdered. And I feel like this happens a lot to men also, myself included. I kind of fell into this trap myself, where you expect God to give you a wife. Or, for the girls, you expect God to give you a husband. And this white picket fence, and this golden retriever life, it's not promised to you. No. Jesus didn't come to give everyone their hopes and dreams. He came to bring life. And yes, Jesus does say that He will listen to your prayers and pray knowing that it's done. But don't live with this expectation that everything that will happen, that you've prayed for, will happen. Because if it's not in God's will, then it will not happen. And if it is in God's will, it probably was already in the works before you prayed. No, you should still pray. God is eager to hear from you. But don't live with the expectation. Just don't. I don't have much else to say. This is not a long video, but I need you to analyze your prayers and realize how much of what I'm praying for is all for selfish gain. How much of this is just for me? And please, release yourself of the burdening expectations of this is how my life should look. And I have been there. I have been there where I have expected God to give me this. I needed it to be done this way. And by now I should have this. And by the age of this age, I should already be married. And by this age, I should already be this. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop expecting that things will be done. Now, no, if they're in God's will. What I'm trying to say here is expect that things will be done, but understand and surrender to God's will, because sometimes His will may not align with what you want, not with your vision board, not with your goals. They may not align with what you want, because Jesus may want something better and something that will be for the glory of God. And I just want you to understand, hey, please surrender to God. Surrender to God and say, you know what, let your will be done. I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything. If it meant I was going to be homeless, I understand. Because it's for the glory of God. And it may seem extreme to someone. It may not make sense to someone. But don't expect things from God, because you will live in a life of disappointment, always expecting things from God, even though they may not be in God's will. So please, analyze your prayers. Understand how much of this is just all for selfish gain. And how can I be better by God? And just surrender to His will. Pray for the things you want, but pray knowing that if it's His will, it will be done. Please, just take that advice.